Welcome to Guardsman 411 Study Materials. Study material for watchperson at construction sites, Citywide, S60, the S60 test, available on December 14, 2015. Note 1, starting from March 1, 2016, all watchperson at construction site will be required to possess the S60 Certificate of Fitness card. Note 2, S60 Certificate of Fitness is only valid provided the C of F holder maintains a current New York State security license. The S60 Certificate of Fitness holder must keep the Certificates of Fitness and the NYS security license upon his or her person, or otherwise readily available for inspection by any representative of the department, at all times while performing the duty of a watchperson. Notice of Examination. Title: Watchperson at Construction Sites, S60. Date of Exam: Written exams are conducted Monday through Friday, except legal holidays, 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Applicants who need to take the exam must apply in person. 1. Applicants must be at least 18 years of age. 2. Applicants must have a reasonable understanding of the English language. 3. Applicant must provide 2 forms of identifications. At least one form of identification must be government-issued photo identification, such as a state-issued driver's license or non-driver's license or a passport. 4. Applicants must present a letter of recommendation from his/her employer. The letter must be on official letterhead, and must state the applicant's full name, experience, and the address where the applicant will work. If the applicants are self-employed or the principal of the company, they must submit a notarized letter attesting to their qualifications. For more info. Sample of recommendation letter, see link in the comments section. Sample of self-employed letter, see link in the comments section. 5. Applicants must present a completed application for Certificate of Fitness, A20 form. See link in the comments section. 6. Applicants not currently employed may take the exam without the recommendation letter. If the applicants pass the exam, Fdny will issue a temporary letter with picture for the job-seeking purpose. The C of F card will not be issued unless the applicants are employed and provide the recommendation letter from his/her employer. 7. Special requirement for S60 Certificate of Fitness. 1. The applicant must possess and present a valid New York State security guard license. Without showing a valid NYS security guard license, the applicant will not be permitted to take the S60 exam. 2. The experience of being an S60 watchperson at construction site will generally not qualify you to take the S56 Certificate of Fitness exam. 8. Application fee. Pay the $25 application fee in person by one of the following methods: cash, credit card, American Express, Discover, MasterCard, or Visa; debit card, MasterCard or Visa; personal or company check or money order, made payable to the New York City Fire Department. For fee waivers, submit. Only government employees who will use their C of F for their work-related responsibilities are eligible for fee waivers. A letter requesting fee waiver on the agency's official letterhead stating applicant full name, exam type, and address of premises, and copy of identification card issued by the agency. A convenience fee of 2.49% will be applied to all credit card payments. 9. Exam information. The S60 exam will consist of 20 multiple-choice questions, administered on a touchscreen computer monitor. It is a time-limit exam. Based on the amount of the questions, you will have 30 minutes to complete the test. A passing score of at least 70% is required in order to secure a Certificate of Fitness. Call 718-999-1988 for additional information and forms. Please always check for the latest revised booklet at Fdny website before you take the exam. See the comments section for link. 10. If all the requirements are met and pass the exam, a certificate will be issued the same day. Applicant who fails the exam will receive a failure report. To retake the exam, applicants will need to submit a new application and payment. Renewal requirements. This certificate of fitness must be renewed every 3 years. The renewal fee is $15. Fdny also reserves the right to require the applicants to take a re-examination upon submission of renewal applications. You will receive a courtesy notice of renewal 90 days before the expiration date. However, it is your responsibility to renew your certificate. It is very important to renew your C of F before it expires. Renewal submitted 90 days, up to 1 year, after the expiration date will incur a $25 penalty in addition to the renewal fee. Certificates expired over 1 year past expiration date will not be renewed. New exams will be required. To change a mailing address. Submit a letter requesting the change of mailing address and a copy of your C of F with $5 fee. To change a work location. Submit a letter from your current employer, on company letterhead, confirming that you are an employee and stating your new work location with a copy of your C of F and a $5 fee. To request a replacement certificate. Submit a driver's license or passport, social security number, mailing address and a $5 fee. The certificate can be renewed online, by mail, or in person. Renewal online. If you are an individual, make sure you have your 12-digit Certificate of Fitness Access ID. This can be found on your renewal notice. If you do not have your renewal notice, your Access ID is your 8-digit Certificate of Fitness number and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. If you are submitting renewals on behalf of a company's employees, the company must be approved by Fdny and have an 8-digit company code. To request approval, email. See the comments section for email. Renewal fee can be paid by one of the following methods. Credit card, American Express, Discover, MasterCard, or Visa. Debit card, MasterCard or Visa. E-check. A fee-exempted applicants cannot renew online, only by mail or in person. If all the requirements are met, the Certificate of Fitness will be mailed out within 10 days. For online renewal, go to, see comments section for link. Renewal by mail. Mail your renewal notice, or if you did not receive a renewal notice, a copy of your certificate, along with your fee payment, personal or company check or money order, made payable to the New York City Fire Department, for fee waivers. Submit. Only government employees who will use their C of F for their work-related responsibilities are eligible for fee waivers. A letter requesting fee waiver on the agency's official letterhead stating applicant full name, exam type, and address of premises, and copy of identification card issued by the agency and, if applicable, supporting documents to NYC Fire Department, Fdny, Cashiers Unit, 9, Metro Tech Center, 1st floor, Brooklyn, New York, 11201. If all the requirements are met, the Certificate of Fitness will be mailed out within 4 to 6 weeks. Renewal in person. Submit your renewal notice, or if you did not receive a renewal notice, a copy of your certificate, along with your fee payment by one of the following methods. Cash. Credit card, American Express, Discover, MasterCard, or Visa. Debit card, MasterCard or Visa. Personal or company check or money order, made payable to the New York City Fire Department. If all the requirements are met, the Certificate of Fitness will be issued the same day. A convenience fee of 2.49% will be applied to all credit card payments for original or renewal certificates. Exam site, Fdny Headquarters, 9, Metro Tech Center, Brooklyn, New York. Enter through the Flatbush Avenue entrance, between Myrtle Avenue and Tech Place. Study material and test description. About the study material. This study material will help you prepare for the examination for the Certificate of Fitness for watchperson at construction sites. The study material includes information taken from the Fire Prevention Code of the Bureau of Fire Prevention. The exam covers the entire booklet and any table. It will not be provided to you during the test. It is critical that you read and understand this booklet to help increase your chance of passing this exam. The study material does not contain all of the information you need to know to work as a watch person. It is your responsibility to become familiar with all applicable rules and regulations of the City of New York, even if they are not covered in the study material. You need to be familiar with the 2014 Building Code Section 3303, 3310 and Fire Code Chapter 14, which regulate the duties of watchperson at construction sites in order to adequately prepare for the exam. About the test. 20 questions on the S60 Certificate of Fitness examination are of the multiple choice type with 4 alternative answers to each question. Only one answer is most correct for each question. If you do not answer a question, or if you mark more than one alternative, your answer will be scored as incorrect. A score of 70% is required on the examination in order to qualify for the Certificate of Fitness. Read each question carefully before marking your answer. There is no penalty for guessing. Sample questions. 1. Which of the following are allowed to be used/displayed while taking a Certificate of Fitness examination at 9 Metro Tech Center? I. Cellular phone. 2. Study material booklet. 3. Reference material provided by the Fdny. 4. MP3 player. A. 3 only. B 1, 2, and 3. C. 2 and 4. D1 only. Only reference material provided by the Fdny is allowed to be used during Certificate of Fitness examinations. Therefore, the correct answer would be A. You would touch A on the computer terminal screen. 2. If you do not know the answer to a question while taking an examination, who should you ask for help? A. The person next to you. B. The firefighters. C. The examiner in the testing room. D. You should not ask about test questions since Fdny staff cannot assist applicants. You should not ask about examination questions or answers since Fdny staff cannot assist applicants with their tests. Therefore, the correct answer would be D. You would touch D on the computer terminal screen. 3. If the screen on your computer terminal freezes during your examination, who should you ask for help? A. The person next to you. B. The firefighters. C. The examiner in the testing room. D. The computer help desk. If you have a computer-related question, you should ask the examiner in the testing room. Therefore, the correct answer would be C. You would touch C. You would touch C on the computer terminal screen. Introduction. Certificate of Fitness. There are certain certificates of fitness required on construction site to perform specific duties, to supervise specific facilities, or to supervise the storage, handling and use of hazardous materials. Category description. G60, torch use of flammable gases for hot work operations. E21, storage and use of powder actuated tools. F01, fire guard for impairment, including construction site. F60, fire guard for torch operation. P54, supervision of crane aerial fueling operations at construction site. S56, construction site fire safety manager. S60, watchperson at construction sites. S92, supervision of portable fueled space heaters at construction sites. S93, supervise temporary storage and dispensing flammable/combustible liquids at construction site. S94, supervise the handling and dispensing flammable/combustible liquids in portable containers. The S60 Certificate of Fitness is only designed for certifying watchpersons at construction site. A S60 Certificate of Fitness holder is not authorized to perform the duties of other certificates of fitness. At least one S60 watchperson is required at any construction site having a footprint of between 5,000 square feet and 40,000 square feet. This competent watchperson must be on duty at the site during all hours when operations are not in progress. The requirement starts from the time when the foundation is poured to when all work has concluded and the certificate of occupancy or temporary certificate of occupancy has been issued. Where the building has a footprint of more than 40,000 square feet, at least one additional S60 watchperson must be on duty for each additional 40,000 square feet of building footprint, or fraction thereof. Exceptions. 1. Where the construction site requires 2 or more watchpersons, the number of watchpersons may be reduced, subject to the approval of the commissioner, where 1.1. An alarm or video monitoring system is in place, or where the layout of the building allows a continuous line of sight across the entire building, and 1.2. At least one watchperson is provided. 2. The building is being actively monitored in accordance with a fire safety and evacuation plan approved by the fire department in accordance with the New York City Fire Code. S60 Certificate of Fitness is only valid provided the C of F holder maintains a current New York State security license. The S60 Certificate of Fitness holder must keep the certificates of fitness and the NYS security license upon his or her person, or otherwise readily available for inspection by any representative of the department, at all times while performing the duty of a watch person. The S60 Certificate of Fitness holder is required to have knowledge of the following Fire Code and Building Code sections. FC Chapter 14, Fire Safety During Construction, Alteration, and Demolition. 2014 Building Code Section 3303 and 3310. Definitions. Alteration. Any construction, addition, change of use or occupancy, or renovation to a building or structure in existence. Construction. The excavation, erection, alteration, and repair of buildings or any component parts, including all operations incidental thereto. Competent person. One who is capable of identifying existing predictable hazards in the surroundings or conditions that are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous, and who has authorization to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate such hazards. Debris. Rubbish, waste, discarded material, or the remains of something broken down, demolished, or destroyed. Demolition. Full demolition. The dismantling, razing, or removal of all of a building or structure, including all operations incidental thereto. Partial demolition. The dismantling, razing, or removal of structural members, floors, interior bearing walls, and or exterior walls or portions thereof, including all operations incidental thereto. Erection. The assembly and placement of crane sections and components into place, including all operations incidental thereto. Erection shall include climbing and jumping. Excavation. The removal of earth from its natural position, except for any incidental removal that occurs during the course of augering, drilling, vibrating, or driving. Fastening. The combination of fastener, fastened material, and base material, after the fastener has been driven. Powder actuated tool. A tool that utilizes expanding gases from a powder load to drive a fastener. Small arms ammunition. A shotgun, rifle, or pistol cartridge, and any cartridge for propellant-actuated devices, excluding ammunition containing bursting charges or incendiary, trace, spotting or pyrotechnic projectiles. 1. Emergency notification. If a watchperson becomes aware of a fire or other emergency at a construction site he/she must immediately telephone 911 and report the emergency. There should be no delays in making such notification. The watchperson should also immediately notify the construction site fire safety manager of the emergency, but only after telephoning 911. The watchperson must be familiar with emergency notification procedures. All construction sites must have an emergency telephone that does not require a coin to operate. The construction site street address must be posted next to the phone or the approved device. The watchperson must know the location of this phone and must have immediate access to it. The watchperson can also use a wireless phone to make emergency notifications. If a wireless phone is used, it is important to be sure that the battery has enough power to last the entire shift. Notifying the Fdny by phone is the most direct and effective way to make notification of an emergency. When notifying 911 of a fire or other emergency, the call taker will need to obtain certain information about the emergency. Obviously, the nature of the emergency and address are the most critical pieces of information. The operator may also ask what the nearest cross street is, and if anyone is in need of medical attention, and if so, what are their symptoms. Additionally, if you are responsible for a very large construction site, it is likely that there will be more than one means of entry. Providing information about which entrance would provide the most direct access to the emergency area would be helpful in getting the emergency response personnel to the area of the emergency as quickly as possible. If certain construction site entrances are obstructed with construction equipment or construction materials and are not easily accessible by emergency responders, this information should be communicated to the 911 operator. The more information you have available to communicate to the 911 operator, the more efficient they can get the right kind of help to you quickly. When you call 911, in addition to the information mentioned above, you should be prepared to answer other 911 operator questions, which may include the phone number you are calling from, the nature of the emergency, details about the emergency, such as a physical description of a person who may have committed a crime, a description of any fire that may be burning, or a description of injuries or symptoms being experienced by a person having a medical emergency. Be prepared to follow any instructions the operator gives you. Many 911 operators can tell you exactly what to do to help in an emergency until help arrives. Finally, do not hang up until the operator instructs you to. After the Fdny arrives, the watch person should be sure to meet the emergency responders to provide them with information regarding the nature of the emergency, its location on the construction site, and to provide the information that the emergency responders request. 2. General knowledge and precautions. A watch person should also be familiar with the following. 1. The location of the nearest fire alarm box and how to use it. 2. All available means of making notifications to emergency responders of a fire or other emergency. 3. The location and use of fire extinguishers. 4. The location of building and construction site entrances and exits. 5. The availability and location of firefighting equipment required to be on site. See the comments section for link to pictures. In general, the watch person should be aware of any activity happening at or around the construction site. The watch person should remain alert to watch for abnormal activity or hear any unusual sounds. Moreover, the watch person should be concerned about any activity that looks suspicious. The watch person must work in a responsible manner and should not be under the influence of intoxicating beverages, narcotics, controlled substances, and prescription or non-prescription drugs that can impair judgment. The watch person must immediately report to the foreman, supervisor, or designated safety and security manager if any one or more of the following are not being complied with. 2.1. Fire safety. 2.1.1. Smoking prohibition. Smoking is strictly prohibited on all construction sites. All construction sites are required to be enclosed with a fence. Smoking is prohibited within the area enclosed by such fence, including in construction trailers and other indoor or outdoor areas. In buildings undergoing alteration, where no fenced enclosure is required, smoking is prohibited in all areas of the building in which alteration work is or will be conducted. Smoking, including the carrying of a lighted pipe, cigar, cigarette, or any other type of smoking material, is prohibited at all construction sites. An example of the no smoking signs. See the comments section for links to example. Durable no smoking signs must be in approved locations that is easily seen and understood throughout the construction site. The signs must provide notice to persons entering or working on the site about the non-smoking policy. For outdoor locations, or indoor locations where the signs may be exposed to conditions that will accelerate deterioration, metal or other approved durable material that is water resistant. No smoking signs must be posted. 1. At all sliding and swinging gate openings. 2. Any other openings allowing for access to the site by persons or vehicles. 3. One or more locations on each floor of such buildings. 4. Any indoor or outdoor areas on the construction site at which persons congregate. 5. Any storage area of hazardous materials, gas cylinders, explosives, etc. 2.1.2 Fdny connections. When the construction of a new building, the working deck reaches a height of 75 feet, e.g. 6 stories, or greater above the ground in a building, a standpipe system will be required. Standpipe systems are installed in buildings to help firefighting personnel deploy attack hose lines quickly and with adequate water pressure and volume to attack a fire. Standpipe systems consist of a network of fixed piping and hose valve connections. Water is supplied either through an automatic water supply or manually through a Fdny connection. Standpipe systems provide a reliable water source to extinguish or control an interior fire in the building. The standpipe systems must